By now, you've probably heard something about ibonds. The big news this month is that the interest rate was just updated by the federal government to 9.62%. Holy crap, is that for real? A 9.62% annualized rate of return for the next 6 months. Where on earth are you getting that right now? In this video, I am doing a recap of my previous in-depth ibond video from last November. If you're looking for an in-depth review, stick around until the end and I'll provide the link to that video. But in this one, I am going to quickly review how ibonds work, what the limitations are, and whether they deserve a spot in your portfolio. Stick around. Hey there, Colin Exelby, Certified Financial Planner here. I'm the owner of the virtual financial advisory practice, Celestial Wealth Management, and I provide financial planning to business owners and their families that just make sense. ibonds, also called inflation-linked bonds, are issued by the United States government and are designed to protect the value of your cash from inflation. Now, unless you have been living under a rock, living off the land in Montana, you're being impacted by the highest inflation rate in the past 40 years. The April 2022 Consumer Price Index report on inflation hit 8.5%. Unleaded gasoline increased 49% year over year. Food at home was up a record 10%, not to mention almost everything else that we buy. Now, I realize that every person's financial situation and risk tolerance is different, and each family is being impacted by inflation in a different way. This is not specific investment advice. This video is for educational purposes. Do your own due diligence and discuss ibonds with your financial and tax advisors, as interest rates are subject to change. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's get to it. What is an ibond? ibonds are a unique, low-risk investment issued by the U.S. Treasury to protect your money from losing value due to inflation. Now, because ibonds are issued by the U.S. government, they have nearly zero risk of default, making them a very safe investment. How is the interest calculated? ibond interest is calculated by combining a fixed interest rate and an inflation-adjusted rate. As of May 2022, the fixed interest rate is 0. So your entire rate of return is based on the current inflation rate. And that rate, updated a few days ago, is currently 9.62% annualized. That is up from 7.12 last November. The interest payment is accrued monthly and automatically added to the bond's value twice a year. You don't actually receive the interest until you cash in the bond. Now, how are ibonds taxed? The owner of the ibond has the option to pay the federal tax on the interest annually or when the bond is cashed in. You get to choose. Another nice advantage is that Series ibond interest is exempt from state and local taxes. So your after-tax returns are even higher if you live in a state that taxes income. This makes them really attractive in high-tax states like California and New York. Can ibonds act like a savings account? ibonds can be an ideal part of an overall cash management strategy, but are definitely not a savings account. An ibond must be held for a minimum of 12 months after the purchase, but after that, it can be redeemed at any time. A savings account provides you daily liquidity and is more appropriate if you may need funds in the next 12 months. There's a catch, though, to the ibonds. If you redeem an ibond after month 12, but before year 5, you lose the prior 3 months of interest. But at today's low interest rates, that penalty would most likely still yield you way more than sitting in a checking or savings account. That makes ibonds an ideal investment for funds you don't intend to invest in growth-oriented investments that you do not need in the next 12 months. And you can hold these ibonds for a maximum of 30 years if you want to. Now, I've talked with people who say, well, all the ibonds do is keep pace with inflation. Well, that's exactly what they're designed to do. And money that's sitting in checking, savings, CDs, or fixed rate bonds is not. And at the moment, neither are many growth-oriented investments. So how much can you invest? This is one of the frustrating parts for many investors. Digital I-bond purchases are limited to $10,000 per Social Security number per calendar year. Now, you must have a Social Security number and either be a U.S. citizen living outside the U.S. or a U.S. resident. But as a parent, you can also invest in I-bonds on behalf of a minor child. So for example, a married couple with 2 children could invest up to $40,000 each calendar year into I-bonds, $10K each for each spouse and $10K each for each child. This could be a great addition to a college savings strategy if you have children that are getting close to college. If you have a trust with a separate EIN, you can invest in I-bonds through the trust, allowing an additional $10,000. If you own a company with a separate EIN, you can also invest through your company, allowing an additional $10,000. How do you actually invest your money in I-bonds? Thankfully, for once, the government makes it easy. You head over to treasurydirect.gov. You click on Open an Account under the Account Login on the right-hand side. You then click Treasury Direct. It takes just 3 steps to open an account and invest in I-bonds. It's all online. Click the Apply Now button. This is where you choose what type of account you are opening. Are you opening as an individual, a business, or a trust? Follow the directions from here, link your bank account, and bam, you have yourself an investment in I-bonds. In summary, if you have money sitting in checking or savings accounts that is not earmarked for growth investing in things like stocks and real estate and cryptocurrencies, things like that, and those funds are not needed in the near future, I think it makes sense to take a hard look at investing in I-bonds. I have no idea what stocks, bonds, crypto, or real estate will do in the future. But for the next 6 months, we know that these bonds will pay 9.65% annualized. If you're looking for more in-depth info on I-bonds, check out this video next. And if you're looking to create a tax-free income in retirement, and who doesn't want to do that? Check out this video too. Get clear, be clear.